my baby, my Phase 4 33. The bow that I'm gonna ride, take down Dan in 2023. When Dan and I started doing YouTube together, he was building his first bow. I've watched him build half a dozen bows. MFJJ's taught him, and now it's kind of come full circle where MFJJ, the professor, is gonna teach me how to build a bow. Can I build a bow? We're gonna find out. I'm no Jake Webb with the wrench, if you know what I mean, but I'm gonna try my best. We're gonna work through this. We're gonna teach you guys, well, actually, I'll let Josh tell you about what we're gonna teach you. And guys, gals, we need your subscription. We're on the road to 100K. We need your help. We're gonna get there by the end of this year. Sooner the better. We're gonna do something sweet when we get there. Help us get there. Hit the subscribe button. Let's go find Josh. Well, 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 boys. What do we have in town here? The Professor MFJJ.
Howdy, gang. How you doing?
Are you ready to teach me how to build a bow?
If it's possible, we're going to find out right now.
Do you know what my mechanic skills are like?
You know, I neglected to ask that question before we started this process. I'm going to find out real fast. This might be a long day. It might go smooth. We'll see.
Let's just say I am no Jake Webb, but I try hard.
So what you're saying is you're on time and you're not late.
And I don't monkey my string off the cams either.
Oh yeah, tell me the story. I didn't even hear about that. What did he do?
Basically, Jake was looking sideways at his bow, like he had it turned sideways, checking the timing.
Trying to look at his timing.
And he monkeyed it off.
Kablow.
And kablow.
Oh man, he's got experience too. That's kind of really embarrassing. That's way worse than accidentally dry firing your bow once.
He said it on me first. I wanted to ask.
Oh, 100%. Like accidentally dry firing your bow, any idiot can do that. It's not that hard.
Yeah, well, and when you're kind of in a tournament, you're very focused.
Yeah, just not, or forget to load an arrow, or have the arrow fall off your bowstring and not realize it when you let go of it. It's really easy to accidentally dry fire your bow. Derailing it, however, takes some effort. So that's pretty smooth there, Jacob. Good work.
All right, here's the deal. We're gonna do it for you. We want this to be a thing you can reference so you can build your own bow or have the steps in your head. This is how to build a bow with MFJJ, start to finish. I'm not gonna let him touch my bow. He's gonna show me, I'm gonna do it, but we're gonna get the steps for you and let's go build a bow. What are the odds we blow up a bow?
Really, really low because we don't have Jake here.
Jake T. Webb, follow him on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I didn't know they were making that. That's something else.
Are you still working on that other thing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna start by getting the rest on?
Yes, that'd be step one.
Step one, let's do it.
Well, right there. Figure up. Mathews specific bracket. So it locks in all nice and tight.
And Dan has one with his name on it, right?
He does. Apparently he didn't save one for you.
Must be nice to be a sponsored athlete.
Greedy bugger. Camera work. I am not an expert cameraman. So yeah, you drop this plate into there.
It's hard, isn't it?
It is.
You're gonna have love for the cameraman after this.
Well, I already do, but I get that.
Yeah.
Those might be easier to tighten with because they're longer. There you go.
We call this installing the bracket.
The Hamskea has a couple different options, and in that you get different plates or adapters, and so they all come loose, and you got to bolt in what you want.
We're flipping the script today, boys.
Yeah.
And girls, all 6 of you.
So far, I don't like it. all 6 girls that follow the channel. That is inaccurate, Tim. There is 3 per 100.
Okay.
Lovely. So before you tie your cord to the bottom limb, this is a perfect time to get your height for your loop. Whether you use a T-square, so some people use, or put a level on your string and your actual arrow and put a level on your arrow and stick it on there and move it up and down to find the part where you're going to actually tie your loop on. You would do that before you tied down your cord. So we'll go to square. Yeah, very simple, basic tool. Just gives you a 90-degree angle. If you don't have all the fancy levels, and we're talking about a home person, so a home person may not, it is more accurate to use levels and your exact arrow, but this is always a really good estimate. You should always have Silver Sharpie. You're doing this, not me. Why am I doing this? Yep. Switch. And switch. The bottom of that right there, that little indent,
yep.
See that? That's where the bottom of your arrow should be. So draw a silver line on your string underneath that dash.
And now one on top here.
Roughly a little over the width of your arrow nock, so not the whole high line there, just maybe a tiny bit under it, because that tool was designed when people shot cedar arrows or big aluminum arrows. And then we're going to set. Go ahead. We're going to set your arrow on there. There we go. When we tie it on, we're going to take that off and set it on there. Now take that Silver Sharpie and mark all the way around the string where you marked it. Now that square's not on there. Oh, that's right. We didn't even install your strings yet.
Optional, install strings if you got strings. These are made by A3 Archery. We're doing the world's largest string test this year. We're going to compile our thoughts after running all these strings for a season. These are the strings I'm running. A3 Archery Bloodline made out of Dyneema. Yeah. And Josh is going to give us his opinion after he sees them a little bit, because you never worked with these, right?
I have not worked with those before, no.
Yeah.
Note to self, install strings before you do anything if you're changing your strings out. Don't start working on the bow first. Do this first.
Bow in press, and you got a drill because
I got a drill, so you don't have to,
You're fancier than Dan.
Well, I don't. My time is valuable. I ain't gonna waste it turning a knob when I can pull the trigger and save 10 seconds every time I do it. So you're probably gonna want to put those fingers on either end as wide as you can set them, Tim. So that one's not set yet.
Okay.
Keep the pressure on this side.
Okay.
Because your hands are over there. Mm-hmm. So hook that in there, then push that direction. Then come back down to the indents here. There's these little indents in here that you're going to want to keep it on. Hang on. Okay, now make sure you're not touching here. It's pretty important. And we're not. How about there?
Nope.
Okay. Make it a little tighter to where you're going to want a little more pressure off that. Yeah. Just check and make sure you don't end up touching anything. All right, so right now it's about as far as you can go without having to take those out because that's about to touch. So, but that should be, yeah, that's enough to get it off. Are you touching over here?
Nope.
We're safe. You should be able to take your string off. Now, this is the moment, ladies and gentlemen, where you take your phone out and take a picture of everything.
Do I need a picture? Because I have a Josh.
Well, you should. You have me, but you should because we're trying to show you the right way to do this. Changing a set of strings, take a picture of both ends. So you take a picture of that cam assembly directly above it so you can see where the strings lay. And then same thing on the other side.
Okay. So we got a side and a top.
Stand back and take a picture of the whole bow just in case you need it. Come down the side and make sure you get a picture of the cable guard so you know which cable goes in what spot.
Okay.
You got a broad one that way. You shouldn't need one this way. I mean, there's only like one thing on this side you could screw up. So
we start with the string, which is this.
Yeah, unhook the string.
And then this
now,
is the yoke.
we're doing this like you would be doing it at home, right?
Yep.
These are kind of a pain in the butt. You have to take the dowel out to get the yoke off. So in order to do that, these first generation ones, which this is what you got, the rubber is in there. It should come out okay. If we have to change top hats, we kind of learned a little hack for that. So you don't risk your limbs sliding off when you're trying to change it out. Yep. But we shouldn't need that for this. So all you're gonna do is take that screw out. There's your Allen wrench. Now you may need another Allen wrench on the other side. It just wants to spin. Sometimes you can keep your finger on the back side and it'll unscrew, but if you feel it spinning on the back side, you're gonna need to stick another Allen wrench in it. Okay. So when it's all the way out, turn it at an angle and that little piece on the end should come with it. There you go. And then set that in your magnetic tray. Little $5 magnetic tray, folks, to save your bacon on taking screws out. Same thing down there, unscrew that one.
That's a pro tip for sure.
Well, I can't believe how many years I worked without a magnet tray just to stick little metal things in.
Josh, how many bows have you built?
I stopped counting. If I had to throw a number out, honestly, it's got to be over between 500 and 1,000 bows a year. I'd say since I was 16, because I could work, I worked for a family business, so I could kind of work full time at 16. Mm-hmm. I did a lot before that, but not nearly as much because I couldn't drive, so that was kind of a difficult thing, magnetic tray.
Let me know if you see like any safety red flags too, because I
think we're okay. So
I don't work on bows.
I'd say if you average 1,000 a year for 27 years, that'd be 27,000 bows at least.
It's enough to shake a stick at.
At least, I would think. There's probably more than that being safe with it, but that's a conservative number. So now we're going to take one out. So take the Allen wrench tool. This is using a tool for something it's not intended for, but it does tend to work well.
And push it out.
I actually usually try to use one that'll fit down in the hole so you don't scratch the limb. Second to bottom or third to bottom is probably what you'd need to get inside that little hole. And hold your hand against the limb so when you start popping on that, it doesn't slide. You can't cover the end though. That's coming out there. Sorry, that will come out. Watch your thumb. But if you push too hard, you'll slide the limb off of the fork. There you go. And that's why we take a picture. So ideally, you try to hang on to the cam whilst this happens. So, but all we're going to do in this part to try to make it simplistic.
Did you just say whilst?
Whilst, yes.
Whilst?
Yeah, I make up words.
No, whilst is a word.
Is it?
W-H-I-L-S-T.
I love the fact that you can spell that.
Yeah.
All right, you're going to want to snag your yolks out of that string package at this point. I'll hang on to that for you. I'll be your third hand. So just the little yoke pieces. Yeah, if I was doing this myself, I'd rip everything off and throw it back on, but I'm trying to show you the safest method so you make the least likely mistake. We're going to need one of those on each end, so set one on the other end. Take that yoke piece off of this cam. So come back to holding the cam. Yep. With one hand, hold the cam. The other hand, take that off. Just take it off. Yep. Just whoop, whoop. Just set that down. Grab your yoke and bend it around and hook it on. Don't try terribly to keep that thing perfectly on that wheel because it's going to fall off no matter what you do. Okay. What we're trying to do is get the axle back in to where the bow's functional. So really just shove it around. Put a bend in this because it's tight. Like try to fold it in the middle. It's going to bend anyway, and just get it over the end like that. Okay, bring it down and put the axle back in. Okay. Don't worry about any of the rest of it. You don't have to have the axle out.
Can I let go of this though?
Okay, let go of the cam. Yeah. I'll hold it for you.
Okay.
Don't even try to do that yet, Tim. Just put the axle back in.
The axle.
What is the round thing sticking out the backside? I can't.
This?
I've got no. Okay, can you hold the cam for a second?
Yes, I can hold the cam.
That's the axle.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Put it back in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funky. You got to like manipulate it. The hard part is trying to get that back in because it kind of doesn't want to.
I can see it now.
But once you get that, you can kind of pull on the cam a little bit and push it until it runs in. This is where I like to take something like this and just tap on the end of it while you're doing it.
God, I think it just started in there.
Oh, you're in the other side?
I think it started,
okay. Yeah. Now keep going until it goes all the way in. There you go. Now grab your screw and your Allen wrench and screw it back in. So this is the safety thing. If we can get these on and screw it back together, the limbs won't slide separate from each other and fall out of the press and break your beautiful Oscar the Grouch's garbage barge bow here with broken limbs because they slid off of. What's that doing?
Telling you you're recording.
Oh, that. Maybe I am a little dumber than I think. You can pick up on that. And that doesn't have to be super snug. Just screw it in till it wants to spin on the other side while your finger's holding on it. Okay, now that is safe.
Yep.
Now do the same thing over there. So remember, you got to hold the other side when you're pushing on it so it doesn't slide off of the fingers. Yeah, sometimes they're easy and sometimes they're hard. It depends on.
I've definitely seen you monkey on it a lot harder than that.
Yeah, some of them are. There's a tolerance in the size of fitting and stuff. I got you. Okay. Same deal. Take the yoke out.
Same deal.
And just drop it. Get it completely disconnected and just drop it. Technically, this isn't 100% yourself, so kind of cheating here a little bit. But
this is what you're always asking us to do, is hold a cam.
Just stick a finger in here and hold on to this for me. Yeah. So
okay,
you get that back over there and then put your axle back in. And you got to move the cam around until it lines up. And then sometimes you got to manipulate the cam a little bit.
It's close.
So this is rubber.
Yep.
So if you smack it on something, you won't scratch it. So if you're in the hole, you should hit that a little bit and it should go in. If you hit it and it's not going in, you're probably not in the hole. You're probably on the edge of it and you need to, no, it feels like it's in there.
It's pretty man.
It's in there, man. All right, well, keep hitting it. Just keep your hand on this side while you do it. Do you just want to get this out?
I do.
Just do it. Just don't miss.
I won't miss.
Keep your hand on one end and don't miss. There you go. That's going. It's going. Screw.
My doohickey?
from your magnetic tray. Okay, your snug, it's pulling the other side. We have yokes. Now,
Yokes.
in order to get these out of here correctly, you have to take this one out first. Okay. You have to go down to where it's not served.
Yep.
And then pull it through. Just shimmy it back and forth. There you go. And then I'll set it down over here. It's out of your way. And then do the same thing with this one, but shimmy it past the 2 steps. Just be careful. There you go. Okay, and set that one down. Now you're going to want to grab one of your cables. Keep in mind when you unpaper clip these things, they're going to want to untwist. So hang on to them. Don't just unhook it and set it down, because then some of the twist comes out of the string and it screws you all up. Actually, before you do that, set it down for a second. Take the old cable, where let's say we're going to do this one first. So you need to take that apart. So you got to kind of pull that out.
I got you. Having your own strings is kind of a deal, huh?
Oh yeah, install it. Like you could make an entire...
I can pull this yoke off, right?
Well, no, you got to get this out because it's looped through. You got to pull the whole cable back through that to get this piece. We only need that black plastic piece now. Unhook your cable. Where? This guy right there. This guy? Yep. Pull that all the way through that loop. No, not there, up here.
Oh, right, yeah.
You got to keep separating, keep separating, keep separating. There you go. Because we need the plastic piece. Yeah. Your one cable.
It doesn't matter which one you grab.
No, they're both the same.
So yeah, when you start doing your own strings, it's a whole nother deal too, isn't it?
Yeah, this is easily, you could make a half-hour to 45-minute video just trying to install strings. Which
is, I got this.
Well, that's a lot of what's going to be on my my channel. I'm installing strings on particular bows.
Which I'm not going to twist.
Don't untwist it. You need your plastic yoke in your right hand with the end. Put it in the loop here. Put the yoke in here. Rounded end down, just like that. And then that goes through there. Well, it's in the loop. There you go. And then grab the other end that you let go of, that I told you don't let go of the end. Put that through that here. Yeah. And then pull it tight. Be careful when you're putting served sections through there, because it's going to want to snag and rip a fiber. Yeah. Keep going all the way till it slides all the way down. There you go. Oh, I'm trying to remember. You want to pull your phone out and see if this one goes here or higher? Which one goes higher? It matters. The bow won't tune right if you put it in the wrong one. So we're going to reflect back to that one. And the one that's in the upper right there is on the outside, right? It's on the rest side.
Our side goes to the outside, so this side goes to the rest side.
Okay, so this one, we're just going to hook it on the cam. We're not going to put it through the roller guard right now, so it doesn't untwist.
Because the other one has to go through.
Because the other one has to go first.
Yeah, hook it
on the cam down there, like you already did put it through.
Like this one here?
No, this one. Put it on there, just for now, so it doesn't untwist.
Yep.
Okay, now go ahead and do the same thing. Actually, hang on. Unhook that a second. This has to be above it. Now put it back on. That actually goes around there, but we don't need to put it around yet. For ease of use, let's go ahead and grab the other cable and do the same thing we did here. So maybe before you grab the cable to get the black plastic yoke off, which is going to require you to unhook that cable. So down here, just go ahead and unhook the cable off the cam. Okay, now pull it out and get your yoke off.
I'm going to be rewatching this video.
I'm sure. It's complicated.
I'm going to use this again in the future.
These are some of the more complicated ones to do, which this is exactly why I wanted to go through and make how to install strings on each bow step by step so somebody can do it at home.
Nice.
And that's what I'm working on largely. That's one of the things anyway. But yeah, so grab your other cable.
Don't untwist it.
Don't untwist it, which is easier said than done. Black plastic yoke goes in here. And then the end that doesn't have serving on it goes through the hole. Okay. I'll give you that tail that you need.
This, right?
Yeah.
This is the end without.
The end with no serving on it goes through the hole.
Yep.
And then the end with serving on it goes through the unserved loop. And then pull it all the way, pull it all the way through. Minding where the serving ends go through, because it will tend to try to snag on something. There's usually a little tail piece there, like that just happened. Hopefully I recorded that okay, I wasn't looking. That's gonna go in through here, so come to the unserved section.
Yep.
Bring it over here and just kind of...
And shimmy it in?
Yeah, but it's got to be where there's no serving.
This is no serving right here.
I think so, yeah, right there. And then just slide it back and forth, being careful about what you're doing.
Oh, very careful.
And then go all the way up to the far wheel, and then pull it that way once you're in there, and the serving should come out nice and clean. Okay. Now go on to the cam. I always roll it forward like this. You're going to go underneath, hook it on that lower peg, the smaller one.
This one, right?
Mm-hmm. And then once you get it on, you have to bend the cable around the upper one. There you go. Now rotate it up 180 degrees, not the cam, the cable, and it goes over that little peg.
Gotcha. Just like that.
So if you don't do that, your poundage is going to be bizarre. Now that you've got that one on, you can unhook this one and put it in here, and you've installed your cables, and then you just need to install your string.
So this was a placeholder.
Yeah, that was just a placeholder so it didn't get unscrewed. We should have done the other one first is what it boiled down to. Yeah, put that over in there.
I got it right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, now slide it towards me. Perfect. And hook it back on your cable, on your cable peg down there. And then bend it around. And there you go. Now the last thing you got to do. So we have both cables on. The yokes aren't where they belong, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that yet. Grab your new string, figure out which side's the top and which side's the bottom, because they are different.
How would I do that?
You see where the little tail is in the string, the little blue piece of material?
Yep.
That's where the peep is. So that would be the upper section. Almost any string manufacturer will put a separator in there. That indicates which one's up. If you're not sure, lay it next to the other one and look at it. The servings are going to end up in different spots, so it won't quite turn out just right. And your center serving won't be right in the middle where you need it if you're not paying attention to that. Okay, so the blue tail's on top, right?
Yeah, it's going to be that way.
So you're going to want, it doesn't matter which end you do first, just unhook the string off one end and hook the new string on it.
Do I have to worry about the twist of this?
You have to worry about the twist of everything, dude. Here, I'll help. So unhook the string and just drop it out of your way.
Damn.
Okay, now run that through. Oh, hold on, no. Go, there you go. Go all the way past the bow, fold underneath, loop it all the way through, and through the cable, right here. Come all the way up and then hook it around the peg that the string sits on. Okay. I'm trying to get this. Okay, make sure it's seated all the way, and then put it in the cam groove. All right. Yep. Okay, same thing on this end. I've got this for a second, so unhook your string and remove it so it's easier for you. Got it? Now it's easier to not hook that on yet, so you have a little bit of room. Yep. Hook it on that peg. Hopefully I can catch it. Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead. So we want to get this side. I know, they're very tight, which is good. You want a good tight end loop on there. It means they did a good job when they made it. All right, you hear that little pop? Yep. You should be on? Okay. Now work it back into the cam groove and then on. Okay. So now, we're almost done. Last thing you got to do, you see how that yoke's not where it goes, and those yokes are not where they go. See how they're down on the axle? You got to put that back in the wheel. It's much easier to do once there's some pressure on it, and we may have to press the bow just a little bit more. It's very normal when you put a new set of strings on that it needs to be a little shorter on the press, because the ones that were on your bow are broken into it, and the ones that weren't on your bow haven't been. So they're going to feel a little shorter. They're really not, or they are very, very, very mildly. That's good. One more end here. You might just want to give that press one pull on the trigger real quick. Just a little more. There you go. That'll make life a little easier for you. Not enough?
Find out.
Here, can I help? Okay. Want to show you a little trick?
Yep.
Now do it.
So you took the string off?
I took the string off so you could rotate the cam a little bit. Okay, you back in. Yep. Hook the string back on from down below. Pull it over. It's a lot easier to get your string on because it's just one piece.
Pro tip.
Instead of the multiple yokes, you should be able to get it there. If you think you got everything on, come over to your bowstring and pull on it a little bit. Grab your bow hand with the other one. Yep. Does it feel like you're starting to draw your bow back? All right, you're probably okay. Triple check everything.
That was our quality check, right?
That is. And the other thing that you might want to do in this scenario, you've got me here, so we're solid. It's right. Pull out your phone, reference your pictures, look at what you did. Okay, does these all look right? Do they look like they're in the right spot? It looks like it's good. Flip the impact gun and let her out. And voila, Timmy just changed his first set of strings and did a pretty damn good job pretty quick. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought.
Now,
you might be a little bit mechanically inclined there, Timmy.
Now, how good is this starting to look? If you didn't already love the bow, now it's likely that
if
it's starting
Oscar the Grouch didn't love it last week, he loves it now.
It's like you're on your third or fourth date with it, and it's starting to come around. You're realizing you might like it a little more than you thought you initially did. Okay.
It is better. I'll give you that.
Oh,
how much better?
Those are strong words for you.
So put her back in the vise, put the square back in it, other end. Always use the lower limb end when you put it in the vise. Stick your square back on it, mark it with a silver Sharpie again, and then we'll start making our loop. You don't have to put it upright with the square. Just keep tightening. You're good.
Yeah.
Okay, slide it down to where it sits right on top of the arrow rest, just lightly.
That's pretty good.
Okay, grab your silver Sharpie again. Bottom line.
And then this line, right?
Mm-hmm. A little more room in there. You won't fit your knock in there. You got to go up a little bit. Up, up. And it's just a starting point. We don't have to go off of that. The bottom one's the one that matters. The other one's just kind of rough estimate. And once you got that on there, pop it out of there. You're going to want some of that in a minute.
Maybe.
You're gonna want
beeswax. It's
and
called
some
serving.
nylon. Yep, 400 nylon. And then something to cut that with. Should be, I think some of my tools have been cannibalized. Here's a razor blade. So pull about a foot or so of that serving off, maybe 18 inches, somewhere in there. You're gonna curse me.
Pull about a foot off.
A foot to 18 inches, anywhere in there. It doesn't matter. Just the worst thing is if it's too short. Too long, you just throw some away. Big deal. Yeah, that's enough. You're gonna be cursing me 6 ways to Sunday when you're editing this. Like, God, this guy's terrible. Wax it with beeswax.
Wax it up. This is where I get to see you molest the string.
No, we're not molesting anything. We're caressing the nylon there with the beeswax. It's just so it gets sticky.
Okay. And are these gonna be our soft knots?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm half tempted to tie one for you and
Should.
let you tie the other one.
Yeah.
Because
One is good. As long as I'm
hard.
doing one, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Put your serving underneath, go over, and instead of tying a knot, loop it through again. This has a name. I don't know what it's called.
It's a triple knot.
Triple knot.
Yeah.
Okay, so using a triple knot, come down to the high part of that silver, and then do another triple knot underneath it.
Triple knot on top, triple knot on bottom.
That's it. Nothing too complicated about that. Come back above. 1, 2.
Oh, I got this.
We're gonna do this 4 to 6 times somewhere in there, depending on how big of a soft knot you really want.
This I can do.
Okay, cool. I'm feeling good about that then. So now, when you come time to do the top one, I'll let you cut and melt that too. Let's grab your arrow. Now you see where your silver would probably be a little too snug.
Yep.
You need to have like 1 serving width of gap in here.
Okay.
So when you're tying this, leave about 1 width of material between where your knot ends and where the knock begins.
Okay.
Wax the piss out of it.
And if you didn't wax it, what would happen?
It'll untie as you're going. So it helps compress those knots and keeps them in place long enough to melt the end so it can't come untied anymore. It's a triple knot, so you go through twice.
Yep.
Right.
Snug her down.
And leave about one piece of material's thickness gap. Because it has to be able to move up a little bit.
You want to take a look at that with your eyes? Closer? Or?
Maybe a tiny closer. Just tiny. It's still good either way.
Pretty precise stuff here.
You have to have the right amount of gap,
Now
or your knock will pinch. Yeah, just triple knot on top. Or your knock will pinch. So if those are touching firmly and you draw it back, your arrow will float off your arrow rest because it's compressed.
This knot you can also use to tie like mono to mono together, fishing stuff.
Oh, okay. So I'll do another 2 more, 1 below, 1 above, and then we can cut them and melt them.
I learned that fly fishing.
I used to fly fish
fishing
a
is
lot.
freaking therapeutic, dude. You want to talk about slinging arrows? Like fly fishing is probably even more therapeutic than slinging arrows.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. It's just how many hours in the day does a man have? Me, but then the people get less stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
Okay.
Okay, now pull your arrow out of there. You don't need it anymore. Drop her on out. Get her out your way.
Cut and burn?
Yeah, leave about a 1/4 inch of material on all 4 cut pieces, and then we'll lighter them and melt them.
Guys, comment below on Josh's video work. Let us know how he's doing.
Terrible.
Should we hire him back or no?
I would hire me for something way different than this.
Nice.
Okay, lighter.
And do you like a small amount of flame here?
No, it don't matter.
Don't matter.
If you can turn it up, turn it up. Go nuts.
I'm just curious.
Touch it with your finger after it balls up like that. Should flatten it out and not make it sticking out. Nothing really particular here. Just trying to melt it. Good job. Time for a loopy. You hold that a sec?
Yeah. Loop will probably do the same thing where you do the first half.
I'll do one knot, you do the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that makes sense. Go orange.
Okay, you got it. Garbage pail kids. Okay, so there's 1/4 to 3/8.
So the number is
4 1/4 to 4 3/8.
And this is like an actual 4 1/4, 4 3/8, or the kind you tell your girlfriend about?
Like the legit. Yeah, 4 3/4 to 4 3/8. When you're using BCY's material, everybody's material stretches a little differently as a different thickness. You may end up with a different number. We used to use, it wasn't Pine Ridge, it was another company. I think it was called Circut. I used to go through a lot of theirs, and theirs I had to make it at 4 1/2. It didn't stretch as much. This is designed to compress a little more. So you need a little shorter piece to end up at the right length. Some people like to...
And you're fuzzing the end. Just talk about that.
Yeah, you gotta roll it out as much as you can. Try to make as big of a ball in the end as you can.
Mushroom it.
Yeah,
Some might call that.
Just a nice little rub down.
Titillating.
All right. And the purpose of that is that's what's going to stop you from getting punched in the face. So don't cut that one short and don't be a slacker on that one. Make that ball nice and big. Grab your lighter again and melt your end. Moisture from your tongue. Make sure it's cooled off, nice and solid. Let it sit a second. While you're letting it sit, you can beeswax the piss out of it.
Josh, if Dan were here with us right now, what would he be saying?
Saying this is taking too long. We got other stuff to do.
Yeah, exactly.
No level of patience.
He would say, are you done yet?
Okay, done. Come on. Can we shoot it? I want to shoot it. You tie your knots in equal but opposite directions. So your first one.
Okay, well, no,
so you
what
go.
would be the best angle to film this from?
Probably about how you're doing it, I would
Okay.
think. So we're going to go around on my side and then back to the back side. Put it through.
Yeah.
There you go. And then grab a needle nose and compress it, which ideally you use an actual loop plier because they've got indents in them to hold it. Make sure you're not compressing on the soft knot. Roll it around 1.5, and hang on to the bowstring and give it a tug. Now, when you tie the next one, you tie it in the opposite direction. You come around to this side. Okay. There's a lot of arguments about the right way to do this, but
it don't matter.
This is how I like to do it.
This is the Josh Jones way.
All right, so do you want to do the other side there, Tim?
I do.
So put that burnt end through.
So we pulled all the slack this way. Now we're gonna pull the burnt end through here.
Mm-hmm. Slide it up. Okay, now grab your needle nose. You're good.
And you're gonna
put it through the loop position. Turn it sideways. There you go, now right back up. And then open the needle nose pliers. No, you're good.
You like it?
Yeah, good loopy, Tim. Look at that. Look at that classy workmanship right there.
How do you think I was gonna mess that up? That's 2 loops. Your boy's got some skills.
No. Well, people frequently will tie it the wrong direction or loop it.
Nice. That's a loop. We got an orange loop on a green screen, baby.
Following the garbage theme. Good job. Okay, so now you got a loop on here. So we can actually tie your rest on the limb.
And now we're tying this.
Yeah, you're gonna tie it to around here, or you can use one of those brackets if you want, but we have to go grab one of those if you want the bracket.
Whatever you recommend, man.
I usually use the bracket.
We should have a bracket.
All right.
Limb cord attachment. This is pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, you're just gonna take those 2 screws off of there and then set it over there and screw it back in.
Shink dink, inside or outside, what do you prefer?
I like to go to the inside, so if you use a low pro quiver, it runs the cord tighter and it doesn't touch anything. So that's why I go that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything I gotta worry about falling out or no, not really?
Nope, there's 4 screws holding that bracket on, so taking.
It's actually a really good way to record this video because all these questions I have are genuine beginner questions, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's hard to beat that.
You can't really fake that.
That's right. And then because the axle goes through the limb, it holds it in place while we're doing this. And open up your limb cord attachment. Don't over tighten it because it's a pretty small part. You don't really need to reef the crap out of it, but I would give it a little tighten in there like that.
A little snugness.
A little snugness. You want a pro tip?
Yep.
Let me have it. All right, pro tip. Sometimes when they melt these, they melt them in an awkward position. So if you cut it at an angle and then melt it at an angle, get it hot.
Wow, this is a real pro tip.
And then get it wet and pull it out. Should make it smaller and a little easier to put through. Oh, pro tip probably would have been to put it through there before we put the screws in it. Just stuck it down there. That's the real pro tip. Oh, got it. Yahtzee. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. You can tie it in a knot, or you can do like a string loop type knot. Totally up to you. Now you want that rubber, yeah, we're gonna adjust it up there. So you want that rubber near the bottom, but it doesn't have to be like right at the bottom.
Okay. So this knot really doesn't matter. This is just whatever you feel secure.
All right, so now, loosen that little screw there.
Don't
take it all the way out. Just loosen it up to where when you pull on this rope here, it tightens. Just keep loosening it until you can pull on that tail end and it slides. There you go. There you go. Pull all of it. Pull it really tight. Push that up a little bit. About there. And then go ahead and tighten her back down. We're going to stretch it after you tighten it and then loosen it and tighten it again. Cinch that up real good.
And what's the technique again?
Just grab onto it and jerk on it a bunch. Yeah, just do what you're doing what you can to try to get this cord in here tight.
Do I got to worry about the flapper?
Not really, no. You're going to retighten everything anyway. It really don't matter. Now, loosen the screw, pull it tight again, and cinch her up.
How tight do we want it? Like
snug, because it's still going to stretch. There you go.
And we'll be able to recognize stretch by this thing.
Your arrow rest will be coming up, yeah. You can leave some extra here and do some half hitches around if you want, or you can just cut it off enough to grab with a pair of pliers. It's up to you.
Okay.
And then Thursday I had to take us to the Zags game, so I couldn't go on my Thursday option. Yep, cut whatever you don't want. Fray it out real good, give it a burning. Okay, so this would be the point in which you'd put it through paper, but we don't have a paper tuner, so we're gonna go past that to the next task.
Okay.
Which is putting a sight on and getting it level. If I remember right, I should probably go check my notes.
Check them.
Here we go. Okay.
This comes with the bow.
Yeah, those come with the bow. So we're gonna install that screw partially, and then put your sight on, and then we'll get some levels on it to adjust it correctly.
That's good.
Those get crossed really easy, so I try
That's
to be
not
careful.
crossed.
Sweet. All right, well, if you know it's started okay, go ahead and grab your sight and slide it in there to the depth in which you want it, and then tighten that screw down. My spiel on what?
On depth.
I like it
Josh
as close
always
to,
says as close as possible.
as close as possible, so when you torque, you're torquing by a less of a factor. A lot of arguments there, but you know, hey,
This is
there's
Josh
no
Jones'
wrong
bow.
way if you can do it the same.
How about?
It just tends to be a little easier
How
to do
about
it
right
the same
there?
this way.
And then if we need to adjust it for peep size, we will.
Sure.
I think I'm in a groove there. Yeah, I'm very close. Yep.
You don't want it reefed on, just not.
Yeah, it's good.
Now we need to add some levels to the string to get the string set level, and then we can clamp a level on the sight and figure out if we're level or not. You want to be on the string, no serving touching it.
Yep.
So it's flat surface.
We like that.
Just like that, and then loosen the handle of the vise and move it to where those bubbles look even.
Then we gotta shimmy it even.
Okay.
Pretty good,
Clamp
man.
that on your rail.
And what do we call this one here?
That is the Gen 2 Hamski level. So that, and it has to be on a flat spot, no screws, no nothing. It has to be sitting on something nice and square and flat. There you go, then tighten it back down.
Pro tip.
Move your sight head out of the way. Helps.
Good
You good and
deal.
solid? Get back here and look at this bubble, right? And then you look at that one, and not quite the same. So we need to bring
Let's show them
that
like
that way,
this.
right?
We're level here, and this
It's not quite level.
is to the right. Bubble right. So which way are we gonna move it?
So that means this is higher. So we need to move the bottom that direction by loosening these screws. And there should be some slop in here where you can push it that way.
And we call this access the second.
This is the rail adjustment. So a lot of times they will refer this to the first. Everyone kind of says it a little differently. So
Yeah.
I just call it leveling the rail.
Leveling the rail.
Leveling the rail. Find the right Allen wrench for you here. All right, if you can get it loose a little bit, it shouldn't take much if you've got the slop on that end. So see if you can push on the rail and move it right now, if it'll let you.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so get it to where that looks like a level bubble.
As level as I can make it.
That looks pretty close. So if you got it where you like it, then just tighten that screw back up.
So we leveled the rail.
You're level now on everything but your third, and you really need to shoot your third anyway.
Yeah.
So that would be setting your sight. We don't have a quiver, so we're not putting your quiver on. Next thing you would do is put your stabilizers on.
Right now, this bow is being set up to take down Dan. Not take down deer, not take down elk. This is a 3D, you know, our little tour that we do, go shoot different 3D stuff. We'll keep the quiver off. I got my little housing in the front. I want to mess around with some different sights this year for sure. Right now, we'll just keep it clean, get it super balanced, be ready for our little 3D tour, shooting targets, tack, stuff like that, local stuff.
Your bridge lock front bar has the wing nut that goes in here, right there, in the box. So you got to open that up. I would try it first since you have them.
Sure.
And then if you want to change it because you
Let's
want
do
something a little
that.
longer, then go with
And
that.
then we'll dink with it. Wing nut.
Wing nut, that hole on the wing nut. Oop. Well,
Doesn't matter, I can pin it anywhere? Or?
Yeah, you can. There's indents on it, so every indent you can pin it on, and you know, longer be typically a little more accurate. So
Yeah, I want
4
it
hours
long
you
as
can manage to
possible.
get.
It is super clean. Just everything fits snug, super easy install, very cleanly.
So then you need your V-bar bracket, your bridge lock adjustable V-bar. $199.99. Podiumarcher.com.
$199. What's this?
$259.
So $460.
Another $259. $720.
And I got all my nuts in the back, huh?
Yeah. All your different little devils. That's your wingy ding for the stabilizer to attach to. And then it's just how you're screwing it on. I think normally you use that one. And then personally, I like to slide that edge up to where it lines up with the riser.
So you get another point of stability or whatever?
Yeah, if you can. I mean, if depending on how far out you push this thing,
Yeah.
which you stick an Allen wrench in that and give it a reef. All right. So now your little wingy ding goes in here.
Wingy
so a little
ding.
black wingy ding there.
Yep.
And you just need to start it. You don't have to screw it in very far.
This little wingy ding.
Yep, that's just for tightening and loosening. It's a little tricky to get started. Okay. Get your other little bridge lock out.
This looks like a lot more than 10 inches to me.
Loosen that screw, and that'll let you rotate that, if I remember right. And that's going to be that big dog again, probably. Nice, that's good. So now the next thing you would do at this point is put your peep in.
Peep?
Yeah. However, we have your other bow that you know is in the right spot, so we can kind of copy that.
Yep.
So if you have the same axle to axle and brace height bow and you're changing from one to another, and you know where your peep goes, in your other one, just copy it. You should be good. Take your level off and set that back in the bow press so we can press it and set the peep in the string.
So if somebody wants to buy a press,
Yeah.
what's the beginner press you like?
The Easy Green press from Last Chance Archery, they're like 400, 420, something like that.
And do you need attachments, or do you recommend any of the attachments?
No, 90% of the things that you can buy for that, you don't actually need to get working. This is a pack and go. I really like this press. It is a little more than $100 more, but you can fold it down and take it with you. So if you ever have that desire whatsoever to be able to like put it in the back of the truck or behind the seat or what have you and take it to wherever you're going so you can portably use a press, I would go with the pack and go. If you're gonna bolt it down to the counter and never move it, an Easy Green will do the job. That's enough. Okay. So now we need to grab your other bow and hold your loop up here with where your peep is and figure out how high your peep is.
Loop to peep.
Loop to peep. Oh, there she is.
I think my bow got well used last year.
Oh man, a lot of love in that bow, even if it does look like it was abused, beat up, and slapped around a little. Yeah. All right, so bring your loop up to that one if you can. Like rotate the bow out to you.
Okay.
So we can just touch strings. So that little tail, move it to where it lines up with the peep.
Bottom of the peep or top of the peep?
Center of the peep.
It's pretty close.
Okay, now pull that back out. And then that's where we're gonna set your peep. We're gonna start with a 3/16 because that's probably what's gonna work because that's what you have on that, and you have a smaller housing. This is pressed enough, not quite, maybe a tiny bit more so you can get it that tail out. All right, that's good. So the trick here, I wish I could show with my hands and hold the camera at the same time, but if you pull on that tail and then stick your fingernail next to it, you can pull it apart pretty easily. And then once you get stick your finger in there if you can, you should be able to put the peep in the place of where your finger is. There you go.
Okay.
Good.
So if I don't think it matters right-handed or left-handed, but we're looking, the peep's going to be angled up.
Yeah,
after
so when you draw the bow back, it's actually straight to your eye.
It angles down to you.
So once you got that separated in there, you don't need that tail anymore. We can just throw that away. And if you're good on your height, you can actually tie it in right where it is, and then we can twist the string if the peep doesn't rotate straight to get it to come back straight.
Do we want to test height?
Oh, yeah, we can draw it back. We're just setting it where we think it goes, and then have you pull it back and check and make sure it looks good. But it should.
Unpress it?
Unpress it, take it out. Safety first.
Okay.
And give her a tug. Anchor in. Open up. Does she look right?
It's pretty dang close, dude.
Cool.
I mean, it might want to come up a smidge. Maybe try one more.
That's a smidge.
Yeah, that's a smidgen. It's got to come down a smidge. It probably was perfect.
Well, it should be because we copied your other one. And I know we did a little bit of painstaking on that other one. We moved it a couple of times.
Yeah, it's got to be right there.
All right. Now we're going to tie it there. Put it back in the press. Take the arrow out of it.
This is one of the fancy knots.
This one's a little harder to get. I can do the front half. You can do the back half if you want.
Yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Probably somewhere in there is serving. I'm going to do the first half, and then you can do the second half so you can...
This is monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, buddy. Wax her up real good.
So basically, as a rule of thumb, we wax all serving that we use.
If you're putting it on by hand, if you're using it in a jig or something where it's like got some compression on its own, you don't necessarily have to wax it. But if you're going to be hanging on to it with your own physical strength, it's when you let go of it, it doesn't loosen up. That's why you wax it. Put just any wax on it. You put beeswax on it because beeswax is sticky. Tex-Tite, ML6, Seal-Tite, any of those other waxes that you're going to see are slick. So it won't help it compress. It actually makes it looser. So you leave yourself a little tail end and wrap over the tail end. And I usually like to go about 10. Just wrap up the one side. I leave some gap in it because this really doesn't have to compress or hold anything together. It's just so it's not loose when you get around the peep. 3, 4. I like to tuck it under the peep. That's about where it was. Go around it at least 2 times. And come back around this side. And tuck it under. Then you can let go of it. And then you're going to wrap down the other side and then do the same knot there.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now just go around the whole thing.
Just like this?
Yep. But come up a little bit with it and get some tension. So start to get it tight.
Snug it up.
Yep. There you go.
And you don't mind me twisting the...
No, it doesn't matter. We'll correct it out when we're done.
Okay.
So put about 6 or 7 in there.
There's 3. There's 7.
Okay, pull all the string all the way through like you did. All right. Now take your hand like this. I got it for a second.
Yep.
And then take that tail end and go over the top. Over the top.
What do you mean over the top?
Over the top of the string and come back through.
This way?
Yep. Now leave a big old gap, like 2 inches on the string
this?
there. Yep. And just start wrapping like that.
Okay.
Count to about 10.
There's 10.
Okay, now come back through and bring the tail end over the top of the piece of material on my right.
This way?
Lay it down flat. Okay, now take this and go over. You're now going to grab this completely and let go of that tail end and keep wrapping. Keep tension on this. This matters. And as you wrap here, it's coming off of there and eventually it'll come back to itself. There you go. You got it. There's your technique. Good job. Keep tension on that right piece. That's what matters. The left one can go a little loose here and there because that's not really your finished serving. That's just where the slack is coming off of.
Oh, I get what's going on there.
Get it?
You're wrapping it back onto itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a move here.
It's the sneaky Pete right there. One more time. All right, now keeping tension on that with your left hand, grab the tail end with your right hand and pull slowly.
Pull towards me?
Yep, pull towards you. There you go. And don't get your finger cut off in there when you're coming down. So then put your thumb under it and then pull the rest of the way. Then it never got loose. It always stayed snug. Give it a good tug, but not so hard that you break the material. There you go. Now cut to a 1/4 inch, cut to a 1/4 inch and melt it.
Cut and burn.
A little more. There you go. And do the other one. I'm burning my hand, Mom. There you go. If you pop this, it's a little twisted one way. So the correction for this,
It's always twist the bottom, right?
is, well, you're gonna press the bow so you can get the string unhooked, and then you're gonna unhook this end and twist it this direction, 1 circle.
Clockwise.
And it'll bring it back to straight or a little bit this
So from
way.
the bottom, clockwise.
Yes.
Yep.
So unpress it enough to where you can get it off. Come down to this end, unhook it, and put 1 twist in it clockwise. 1 twist. All the way around. There you go. Now put her back through. Remember this first, don't worry about that being in groove. Take that out, it's easier. Hook it on there. Put it back in the groove, all the way around. Check your yokes, because they like to come out. And then make sure this is on here, and that's on there. Okay, now give it a tug like you're trying to pull it back a little bit. Feels like you're pulling it back, cool. Let it out on the press. Keep tension on it as you do it. Yep, there you go. Boom shakalaka. Oh, just look at that, peep straight. Magic.
Dang, gee.
Yeah,
Look at that, an old straight peep trick.
Well, you know, thing you need.
Now
Round
what,
press it a little
buttercup?
more. There you go. I'll have to go check my notes, but the only other thing you would do is rough side it out to 50 and then recheck your peep with your sight at 50 or the middle of your range in which you want to shoot, which you've already done all that on your other bow, so there's no reason this won't be right. Timmy put together his own bow. Kind of proud.
And
you're a little more mechanically inclined than I expected, but I'm probably a little worse with this camera than you expected.
we're gonna go down to Josh's shop. You remember that spot? And shoot this through paper.
I ain't built the paper tuner for up here yet, so
Yeah.
we got to run down there to do that.
It's all good. I like it down there.
I give you a 50-50 possibility that you get a bolt hole out of the gate. I mean, if those wheel lean is right and we did our job right, you got about a 50% chance it's just going to be clean or really super close. Whew, that's pretty close, Tim. It's not perfect, but it's darn close. Yeah, a little off, but so minuscule that someone who does this for a living would have done that. Could look like that. Good job, buddy. Shoot one more just to make sure. Well, I found myself wanting to adjust it to make it. Bro, that's pretty damn close, man. That's really damn close. Yeah, that's a pretty good hole, Tim. Don't shoot any lower than that or I'll have to yell at you like I did Dan. We put a twist in the upper cable. It was a slight out of time because we didn't have a draw board to check it on and see what it does. Okay, so we got the up and down gone. Now we just got a tiny bit of left and right. So we'll bump that rest. Yep, up and down's gone.
You don't move the rest very often.
No, but when you have that small of a tear, a top hat won't fix that. You'll end up with the point facing the other way.
This is good.
So we got to make a tiny little hole, which is great.
So we're going to move the rest.
We're going to move the rest to the right just a little bit.
We're going to follow the
Yeah, we're
tear.
going to chase the tip.
So right now we're chasing the tip, and we're going to slide the rest just a smidgen to the right.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And this has micro adjust, this rest?
It does, yeah. You just got to loosen it up enough that you can gear it.
You pay extra for that?
Not on the Epsilon. They only offer it in micro adjust, but they do make the Trinity in micro and manual.
How many clicks you thinking?
Well, these are really fine clicks, so I'm probably going to give it about 10 clicks because it doesn't hardly move when you click.
But at this point, we don't have any real headaches, right?
No, this is easy.
Late to get it tuned.
Yeah, this is like cakewalk. This is definitely one of the easier ones we've done. So that's fantastic. All right, rocking and rolling. One small arrow rest adjustment.
Arrow rest to the right.
Arrow rest to the right, just slight. Thanks, Tim. There's like all this real estate around here, and you got to put it in the same freaking spot. Thank you. Wow, would you look at that? What's up, Bullet?
We like that?
That's beauty, Ace. Good work, Timmy. Timmy can put a bow together. Now you can call him and bug him and ask him all the questions in the world and try to get him to do it for you.
And if you call me at the shop and listen to the voicemail here.
Yeah, hit 3. You'll enjoy it.
Hit 3. That's another pro tip.
Dude, you're done, man.
You're done. Guys, my 20 close, do you think? Last time you did that, I was like 10 spot.
Well, you know, I don't think we can be that lucky twice. That is a 10-liner, ladies and gentlemen. That's twice, Timmy.
That's
some dumb luck.
We did it, folks. I built my first bow. I myself will be rewatching this video when I build my next bow.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's a good little step-by-stepper, that's for sure.
Thank you to our friend Josh Jones of Podium Archer, aka MFJJ. Go subscribe to his channel, check it out. He'll have more stuff like this coming to his channel. We wanted this to be the ultimate resource for you. Let us know if you'd like to see more bow build stuff, more tinkering, whatever. We're on the road to 100K. It's very important to us that we get there this year. Subscribe to the channel.
And Podium Archer.
Come back for more. He's got a website. Go buy stuff, and we'll catch you all back for the next one.